Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, February 16th, 2023. I'm going to let you guys in on what we've been having to do with the beavers. It's probably a touchy subject to some of you, but we've done tons of research. We've watched a bunch of documentaries. Emily's read a bunch of stuff on Fish and Wildlife's website. I talked to a Fish and Wildlife lady this morning, and she really didn't give us too many options. She said most people call to find out legally if they're allowed to kill them or trap them, and that is not what we want to do. We've got plenty of land. We don't mind them being here, but they are starting to cause some problems, as you guys have heard me talk about. So let me show you what we're doing and where we're going, and I don't know, maybe you guys have some ideas and some advice on what we can do. To give you a better understanding of where we're at and what we're dealing with, you can kind of see that there is a creek. This is Wes's property, but there's a creek that runs back here behind Wes's property, comes down here, and that creek is a branch of Lloyd Creek, and it's what actually forms this little property line for us right there. Now that branch of Lloyd Creek, I believe, and I'm just guessing, starts to come up this way and it heads up there. So where our entrance is to the path where the mulching started is probably about back here. The barn's up here, so the path is here. We're gonna walk down here. I'm gonna show you this side of the creek. But approximately where the beaver dam is somewhere over in this area. Don't know exactly. I mean, I know where it's at, but as far as on that map, I can't really pinpoint it. So yeah, I'm gonna go show you what it is doing to the rest of the property. For another angle of this, obviously that's where the barn is. Citrus garden or citrus forest. There is the path that leads down to the kind of the northwest corner of the creek on our property, and where we're going is way back there. But to give you an idea, the beaver dam is way back there. So we're gonna go down here. I'm gonna show you how far the water's starting to back up. To give you an idea, we were standing right up there just a second ago. This is the creek, the branch of Lloyd Creek that borders our property. And you can see that the water is not really moving. Now we haven't gotten too far back in here, but as we continue down here, the water gets higher and higher in the creek, which it should. As we come back down here, this just kind of meanders through our property. But again, the water is not really flowing. It's just kind of stagnant. It's not going anywhere. So we'll jump to the area where it's really starting to get noticeable. Where it starts to get more noticeable because it's getting really close to breaching the shoreline. I mean, you still got another 8 inches, maybe a foot. All this still needs to be cleaned up, but just really hasn't been a priority. If we don't get to it soon, though, it's going to be underwater, which is, again, kind of the point to all this. As we come back here, this is approaching the bend where it starts heading towards the Beaver's Dam, I believe. I'm sure it still kind of zigzags around back in there, but this was bone dry. I mean, it is wetlands down here, so but the wetlands are really caused by the beavers. Watch enough Discovery Channel videos and things like that. Beavers create wetlands. But the creek goes back there, but you can see that now the creek is starting to breach the sides. And it's just creating this nasty swamp back here. I would say probably before we got rain, I mean, this thing was bone dry towards the end of August, September, even probably part of October, but now that it's starting to rain, starting to see some issues. Now this is the trail we used to walk to get back to the beaver dam. You can see how far up the water is. We used to be able to walk totally dry right through there, and the beaver dam's back over here. Well, the lodge is here, the dam is over here, and then he's slowly built all this up. So I say slowly, he actually works pretty quick. I eventually, because this flooded, had to start going that way, but now the other end of it is flooded, and now I have to go all the way around and back the other side, because all this is now part of the beaver pond. Again, we were standing back over here just a second ago, so this is the other side. This used to be our path. He's built the dam up here. Obviously all that's filled up. But after watching a bunch of documentaries, basically you got to find a way to release the water that they don't dam it back up. That's also what we've read as far as Fish and Wildlife stuff. You know, you basically have to put some kind of a culvert pipe in here where they don't see the water moving or hear it moving. And that's the tricky part. Because right now my only option has been to poke a small hole in this thing to let it drain. I don't like doing this. One, it's a pain in the rear end. This thing is built very well. So to dig out this, it's mainly dirt and clay with a bunch of sticks. I dug out that little area yesterday morning to let some of the water drain. And over here, I opened up two larger spots to let it drain. So I opened up a spot there and a spot there, which you can see the fresh foliage, and you can't even tell that I did anything. The Fish and Wildlife people, we already knew this, but she confirmed what we were thinking. She said no matter what you do, she said they are very industrious, and anything you do as far as poking a hole in it, they'll just fill it right back up. We've been doing this for a couple weeks. I try not to do it when it's super cold or the weather's really bad, because he's going to have enough work to begin with. But when we don't have rain for a few days, and the rainwater keeps coming, I can open this thing up and let it drain for 10 hours maybe, because he doesn't come out till the dark. But I can let this drain for 10 hours. He comes out at night, fixes this thing in a matter of, I don't know, hours maybe. I don't know. The trail cam only picks up maybe 20 seconds of footage, and then it stops and then records again. But you would never know I was here yesterday. So I had two openings there, one in there, and then that one over there, and he's already got those things patched. So I don't like doing this. I don't know what else to do. The Fish and Wildlife lady's going to send me paperwork on how to put in a culvert. But basically what I'd have to do is dig a bigger hole, put a culvert pipe way back there so he doesn't hear it, and then put it down here and then have it discharge somewhere where he's not going to hear it. So that is not going to be a small task. She told me to reach out to Florida State University and see if they have any like grad students that are working on any projects that they want something to do. So we don't want to get rid of them. Again, she said most people end up trapping them or shooting them. She said she by no means advocates that. I mean, she works for Fish and Wildlife. And I told her, I said, we don't mind them being here. I think it's amazing that they're down here. I wish I saw more during the day. I did see the otter the other day. So we do have otters back here now. And it's brought in tons of wildlife. I mean, there's always been wildlife here. The bobcats, the otters, all the waterfowl. Haven't seen any snakes, which is a good thing. Not that I mind, but still, it's snakes. But either way, So unfortunately, that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to put this camera down. I'm going to open up this beaver dam a little bit and let the water drain, because we've got more rain coming tomorrow. And there you have it. About 15 minutes later, we've got a decent sized hole in there. It's probably about 18 to 24 inches wide. Again, this can do this all day long and the water won't drop at all. I mean, think of how long it takes to fill up a swimming pool, and this goes on forever. Again, the Fish and Wildlife lady said that really I'm just wasting my time, but at least it's something. But we're gonna have to eventually put in a culvert. So for a guy being retired, I guess I now have a new job. I'm now gonna be a plumber for the beaver dam here at Deer Run Farm.
Yeah, I'm a plumber of the beaver dam. I put drain, like you do like in a house